Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Aaron B. And we got a show on Wednesday. We usually have Taco Thursday, but I guess I don't know what we're gonna call it. We're just gonna call it Draft Wednesday. And I got my special guest, but he's basically family of the show, James Espinosa, host of the Sunday Sports Rush. How's it going, James?
What's up, Aaron? Good to be back, man. Yeah, we're basically our family at this point. I've been on your show several times. We've chopped up Cowboys. I think this might be, correct me if I'm wrong, this might be our third year where we do a Cowboys draft show. I know we did one last year. I think we even did one the year before, but typically around this time is whenever you call on me
Yeah.
and we chop it up and we talk some Cowboys draft, man, and we got a lot to discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things. This one's a little. We're going to be kind of spilling our feelings in this first part of the show because the lackluster of effort in the off season. I, you want to just get into it?
Hey man, wherever you want to start, you know what I mean? Wherever you want to just dive in, let's go ahead and go.
Yeah, let's get into the ugly part. Is the lackluster effort of the off season of the Cowboys. Since you're the guest, I want to hear what you got to say about this.
I mean, as I've detailed on my radio show down here in Corpus Christi, what seems like every single week, just waiting on Cowboys updates, waiting on, are the Cowboys going to address this position in free agency? Well, they got their linebacker, right? They got Eric Kendricks, and then they brought in the running back, Freeman.
Yeah,
So, I mean, look, they brought in two guys, but are those two guys necessarily going to be game changers? Kendricks, he's probably going to get significant playing time. Freeman, in my opinion, he might just be a camp body. I mean, he might be somebody that's there. Who knows if he's even going to make the final roster? It all depends on what the Cowboys decide to do in the draft. But I have been extremely disappointed in the front office with their lack of what seems to be a commitment to the all in mantra that Jerry Jones has been saying this entire offseason. When Jerry Aaron said, we're all in, weren't you expecting something different? Weren't you expecting the Cowboys to go out and solidify the roster and maybe
yeah,
bring back some of the guys that they ended up losing to free agency? But instead, there's more roster spots to fill than the Cowboys have draft picks at this point. So it's in my opinion, it's a little bit of a dire situation. And I thought that Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Cowboys brass was just going to be a little bit more about it than what they've been so far.
yeah. Because this all season they kept saying all in and all this. Like you said, I really thought this all off season would be a little bit better than last year. I know we had Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks in those trades, and some other guys, but we only got two positions. We still could fill that in the draft when it comes to. We could need more linebacker depth. We need more. We need that starting running back, but we need an offensive line help on the left tackle and the center position. And you could be looking at receiver, and you got so many picks that you need to fulfill. But it shouldn't have just been in the draft. We should have been fulfilling these guys in the free agency. There are some guys that this team could have that kind of fit that criteria, but we didn't go at it.
No, they didn't. And that's just, that's Jerry Jones. And I've said it on my show here down in Corpus Christi. He gave the fan base something to gnaw on. He gave the fan base something to hang their hats on, so to speak, and believe in this all-in mantra. But I'm a man, Aaron, and I tell my students this all the time. I tell them, hey man, your words are just words. I need action behind it. And Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, there was hardly any action behind it. And now the Cowboys, in my opinion, find themselves behind the eight ball, so to speak, heading into this draft. And instead of being able to draft best player available at pick 24 or in any round for a matter of fact, right? Now we got to draft based on need. And in my opinion, I don't necessarily like that strategy. I like picking best player available when it's there, but it's looking like Dallas, man. They're going to have to draft by need. They're going to have to try to fill in some of these roster spots. And even at that, Aaron, we're going to rely on rookies
Yeah.
to fill in these spots that we lost in free agency to possibly have a rookie left tackle, a rookie guard, or maybe even a rookie center, depending on what happens tomorrow night, right?
Mhm.
We're going to expect them to come in day one and be solidified starters without any kind of growing pains or anything. That is why I feel like this strategy from Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones was just totally irresponsible towards their own team, towards the star players they have on that team, and towards the franchise that they promised
Yeah.
that things would be different this year. Things were a little bit different, Aaron. They didn't go after any trades to bring in solidified stars like Gilmore and Cooks. They just sat back and, hey, we'll sign a couple of guys and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, they basically just was like, well, I guess we could just relax, go to Cabo or something, and maybe somebody will give us a call, but no call came, and now we're looking in the draft, like you said. Now we're gonna have rookies coming in, like, oh, you're gonna have to be a 5-year veteran, and and I know you're 21 or 20 years old, and
Yeah, it's not the most ideal situation, man. Like, let's say, for example, right? Tomorrow night, pick 24. Whatever the Cowboys decide to do, they might stay there, they might trade back, right? I'm firmly team trade back. I know we're going to dive into more of the draft here in a little bit, but if you bring in the left tackle, right? You're asking this left tackle to come in rookie season, facing all those monsters that he's going to face in the NFL and expect him to be just solid right away. Yes, I will give the Cowboys credit. They do have a great history of drafting linemen. Tyler Smith, right? For example, a couple years back, everybody questioned the pick. Why take Tyler Smith? Why do that? He's not going to be ready. What is he going to play? Guard? Is he going to play tackle? Well, he comes in, he has himself a hell of a year. He's been a hell of a player for 2 seasons already with the Dallas Cowboys. So I will give them the respect in that. Those guys do seem to know how to find their linemen. But I mean, to ask for this to happen again and to expect it to happen again, I just think we might be, it just might be a little bit far fetched, in my opinion, to expect a guy to come in full fledged, be the left tackle, left guard, or center.
yeah, it really shows the Joneses' comfortability and arrogance when it comes to how they treat the off season. And you could have literally been filling needs, and we could have been going the BPA route, which is
Yes.
usually the best route for the Cowboys in the draft. Usually, when we go for need, that's when we tend to struggle. Now we're kind of hoping, oh, please don't be the year like a couple years ago, like last year's. We could just say last year's draft where nobody's really showing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, I know it's only been one season, right? And I'm not ready to write the obituary on Mozzie Smith yet. I want to see Mozzie in year 2. I want to see what he's able to do under Zimmer's defense, right? So I'm not ready to close the book on him. But last year's draft class, for lack of a better word, was lackluster. I
It
mean,
was.
we expected a little bit more from that draft class. And right now, after one season, it's looking like the 2023 draft could be a miss. You look at round 2 with the Luke Schoonmaker, and I mean,
Yeah,
he was barely even on the field at times. So you could go all up and down last year's draft, and you'll see spots where the Cowboys probably could have took other players in those positions where they ended up drafting. So, hey, it's a big bounce back year for the front office for Will McClay. It's a big pressure on those guys up there to get this right, because the way the offseason has been so far, Aaron, they're gonna need to hit on some of these draft picks. This might be the most I'm trying not to be too hyperbolic here. I'm trying not to be too dramatic, right? But this might be one of the most important drafts that this franchise has had in quite a long time, considering where we're at with Dak Prescott, his contract situation, considering where they're at with Mike McCarthy on a 1-year contract, Mike Zimmer on a 1-year contract. Hell, the entire coaching staff practically on a 1-year deal, right? This is a major pivotal point in this franchise going forward. And it starts tomorrow night, man. They have coming up.
yeah, because pretty much everybody, majority of everybody except the Joneses are on a tight leash. They're on that 1-year deal. Like, okay, if we don't do it this year, we're not going to be on. We're going to be looking for another job in 2025 and 2026. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting year. You're kind of hoping that the all in meant something, but I'm just surprised that they didn't pull out some T-shirts that said all in and trying to sell us sell it or
I
something.
mean,
So
Don't be surprised if they do make t-shirts, Aaron. I wouldn't put it past the Joneses for an opportunity to make some money, some all-in shirts with a big old star on it. I mean, let's be honest, that might be in the team shop sooner than we know it.
Oh, definitely. Man, no.
I might buy one out of spite, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe, but then again, that's what Jones would want, right? So,
Yeah.
of course,
Oh yeah.
I'm being silly with it, but yeah, all in so far has not been what they said it was going to be. And of course, Jerry Jones yesterday. I know you saw this out there. They had the draft press conference where Jerry Jones mentioned the phrase "all in" 5 times. He then was telling reporters exactly how the salary cap works and how he is such a salary cap expert. And it was pretty much, it wasn't really about the draft, Aaron. It was more about Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones defending their actions towards
Yeah.
the media. It turned into, it turned into sort of a congressional hearing where it felt like Jerry Jones was up there, on the stand, just like trying to defend himself for his actions. So it was a clown show. That draft press conference, Mike McCarthy barely even spoke. Why was he there? I don't know.
Yeah.
He was just up there like, well, Jerry and Steven got this. So yeah, it's been a messy offseason coming off of what probably was the worst Cowboys playoff loss of all time. Nothing has been able to go right for this team with the Dak contract, looming, the CD contract extension talks. You're going to have to extend Micah, who they just picked up his 5th-year option today. I saw that was some breaking news that came down the line from Todd Archer, but things have not looked great for the Cowboys ever since that devastating loss. It's been a tumultuous offseason in that sense.
Yeah. It was basically pointless for Mike McCarthy to be up there. Like the last time he was there when Mike Zimmer was out there, and he was just looking. He was like, "Why am I here?"
Hold up 1 second, Aaron. Sorry.
Oh, very
One
good.
sec. Oh, my son wanted to get some camera time.
Oh, no worries.
We're good,
My
man. We're good.
my co-host Shane. I don't know if you've seen our episode. He had his daughter
Yeah,
on there, so it's a family friendly show. If
it's all good. Yeah, he was all, Daddy, who you talking to? I was like, I'm on a podcast, son. I'm on a stream right now. He was like, all right. So all right. Well, my apologies about that. We're good. We're good to go. But yeah, man, back to the off season, right? I know it hasn't been to your liking either, and I'm pretty
no,
sure a lot of Cowboys Nation feels that way.
yeah, it's probably like that small little percentage that think it's been the best all season, but I don't know what they're. I don't want to meet those people to be honest with you because they don't know
Yeah.
what they're talking about.
Yeah. Besides the hardcore homers, yeah, I don't know any Cowboy fan right now that has been happy about what's transpired. So,
Nah,
and like I said, you got to be a hardcore homer to look past some of the inefficiencies that this front office has showed so far.
yeah, absolutely. But we can get into our next set. I think we didn't let it out. We didn't got let out our frustrations until until the season starts. That's when we're gonna let out those other frustrations. Like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
But then let's get into our next subject, and that
Let's
is
go.
should the Cowboys trade down or trade up? Well, what do you think? Like, I honestly think trade down is the only way.
I'm firmly with you. I'm firmly team trade down. You look at the way the current selections are right now, right? You got pick 24 round 1, pick 56 round 2, 87 in round 3, and then the Cowboys don't even have a pick in round 4. It goes all the way to pick 173 in round 5. That is an 86 pick gap. 86 guys would come off the board before the Cowboys even get a chance to pick between rounds 3 and rounds 5. To me, Aaron, that is an issue right there. I think Dallas, where they're sitting at 24, they're in a prime position with offensive line being very, very deep in this season's draft class. They're in a position where they could trade down 4, 5, maybe 6 spots or so down and still be in a good spot to pick up one of those linemen and possibly add a 4th-round pick, maybe a couple other late-round picks. But my ideal scenario would be for Dallas to trade back and grab another pick within the top 100. of the draft. So
Yeah.
add another top 100 pick somewhere in the third or somewhere in the early fourth. I think that would be the most ideal scenario for Dallas.
Yeah. And one scenario I'm glad you brought that up is I was tinkering on one of the mock drafts. One of the best one would be going down with the Chiefs, who maybe there's a wide receiver they're looking at, and they're like, hey, we want to trade up. Maybe we can give you a third, or maybe we can give you also a fourth. I'm just maybe being greedy, but if we can get a third from them, that's the 95th pick. That's a big plus that we could have that third round pick.
Yeah, the third at 95 from the Chiefs would give the Cowboys four top 100 picks, just like the scenario that I would love to see, that you would love to see play out. And at 24, you never know, right? Let's look at what the Chiefs wide receiver core is. They're the troubles with Rashee Rice here in the offseason. Who knows if a big suspension is coming, right? That is yet to be determined. I have a feeling the Chiefs would be a great candidate to jump up at 24, especially if a receiver like Adonai Mitchell was there,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even Xavier Worthy. Those are two guys who I've seen been mocked late towards the Chiefs, and guys that have just been rumored out there that the Chiefs might be interested in. So yeah, I mean, in the Chiefs receiving core as a whole, Aaron, let's be honest, right? Patrick Mahomes, he has to make a lot happen with very little parts, so to speak, right? I think the Chiefs could definitely benefit from a stud wide receiver. So let's say one of those guys does drop to 24. That's a prime spot for the Chiefs to jump up. So I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I also got. I don't know if you have another team in mind before I say mine.
Oh, well, the other team that I did have in mind is pick 28 with Buffalo.
Oh, great minds thinking like that's what I was going with.
I think Buffalo could be also prime, and they're also kind of in the receiver category as well. They're someone who can, they got to replace Stephon Diggs. You had their receiving core has not been the best either. So you look at what they have production wise at receiver. I think that they could also be a candidate for a possible trade up with Dallas. Another candidate that I was messing around with the mocks, right? We've all been doing that mock draft
Oh, yeah.
season. Pick, and I know this is out of the first round, but barely out of the first round. It would be the 33rd pick with the Carolina Panthers. So, maybe Panthers see an opportunity to surround Bryce Young with some weapons. A big receiver like Adonai Mitchell could probably entice them, maybe. So that's a possible trade back. Yes, it's technically out of the first round, but I mean, it's just right there,
Yeah.
and there, in my opinion, there still would be a lot of dudes available for Dallas to pick to address the offensive line, which, I mean, let's face facts. I think that is what everybody is expecting Dallas to do, is draft a lineman of some sorts.
Yeah, I feel like there will be alignment if we did go with the Panthers. Like maybe there's a Zach Frazier or Kingsley from a BYU, or one of my other favorite offensive linemen, Josh Morgan from Arizona. Those
Yeah,
guys,
man. I'm pretty high on Josh Morgan, especially if they're there, in those 28 to 32 to 33 range. I do like Josh Morgan. I like the Frazier kid from West Virginia.
yeah,
Graham Barden, I've seen him kind of slide down in that 28 to 32 range. So, hey, if the Cowboys decide let's trade back, not I'm not panicking at all. I'm
yeah,
actually very happy, especially if you're able to pick up another top 100 type of pick. So there's a lot of needs. There's not a lot of draft capital with this Cowboys team right now. Trade back, Jerry. Trade back, Steven. You got to stack your draft capital. You need a draft dudes. You got too many holes to fill, not enough draft capital.
yeah, absolutely. They got to be the total opposite of what they were in free agency. They got to be aggressive. We got to see some
Yes,
moves happen. You
indeed.
can't put
Indeed. I agree with you.
Yeah, you can't put all your baskets in just guys like in the seventh round because those are definitely hit or miss guys, and most likely will be special teamers or your practice squad guys.
Yeah, and no disrespect, right? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to, fifth, sixth, seventh rounders, right?
Yeah,
There's always diamonds in the rough that come from a class like that. It's a little bit more rare. You know what I mean? To have a solidified dude come from rounds 5, 6, 7. Round 4, you can make something happen in round 4, especially if it's in the early portion of round 4, where it is in the top 100 or so picks. So if I'm Dallas, we are trading back without hesitation, especially if the board falls how some are projecting it to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're definitely staying in the draft right now. But what are we're gonna do our little personal mock draft. Before that, what are like in your order? What positions should the Cowboys fill in round 1 through 3 right now?
Okay, so my round 1 through 3 is, it's pretty chalk, right? But I think a lot of people who follow this team and who talk about this team and make content about this team kind of feel the same way. So I got round one. Preferably, I would go offensive tackle, OT, offensive tackle, left tackle, right? Specific. I can understand getting a guard with some maybe position flex into center. I could get that. I could be down with that. Center I'd be down with. So I guess offensive line, right? First round, whether it's tackle, guard, center, I am game. Preferably left tackle though, if I had to like
Yeah.
rank them that in that order. Second round, I mean, you know, you got to address the defense at some point.
Hmm.
You got to address that linebacking core. Last year, we know the struggles of Marquise Bell. We know the struggles of Damone Clark. They were super small
Yeah.
playing linebacker, and teams bullied the hell out of them. The Packers bullied the hell out of them in that playoff game to the point where Jordan Love went on Micah Parsons' podcast and pretty much told Micah Parsons, bro, y'all guys were playing safeties at linebacker. Like, Cowboys got to fix that situation. I know Overshone is slated to come back, but he's coming back off of a major injury and he's yet to play it down in the NFL. So essentially, he's a rookie, right? He's going to be a rookie playing. We don't know what we're going to get out of Overshone. If you're a Longhorn fan, you know what kind of player Overshone is. This dude is big. He's a hybrid. He's sideline to sideline. He's going to make tackles, but coming off the injury, Aaron, is he going to be the same guy? So with that being said, I think I'm going to address linebacker in round 2. If there is someone serviceable there, I'm definitely taking a look at some linebackers. And then in round 3, see, this is where things could get tricky here
Yeah.
because if there is a defensive tackle that slides down there to round 3, in particular, a Tavondre Sweat, for instance, right? He just had his issues. He had a DUI, so not sure how that's going to affect some of his draft status. But if he's there, man, it's going to be real hard for me to pass up on a Tavondre Sweat. I have the inclination that he will probably not be there at pick 87, but let's say he is there, I'm going defensive tackle. If he's not there, I'm going running back. I think you got to get your running back in round 3. I think there'll be plenty of running backs in round 3 that the Cowboys can choose from. So, in order, offensive lineman round 1, linebacker round 2, a DT specifically if it's Sweat. If not, we're going running back.
Yeah. I have no complaints on that. And when it comes to running back, I feel like that third round is that sweet spot to find that starting running back. I think that's where you get the guys like Corum, you got your Allens, your Jalen Wrights.
Yes.
You can look at some of those guys.
You got Trey Benson possibly in
Yeah.
round 3. Audric Estime. Cowboys have looked at him out of Notre Dame. Even Ray Davis out of Kentucky. So there's a lot of names in running back that the Cowboys can tinker with in round 3.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody who does mock drafts and scouting and making boards for the draft, Jonathan Brooks is rated as the number 1 running back and on a lot of people's big boards.
Yes.
So, and of course, Aaron, he's also coming off of an injury, man. So do you bite the bullet on Jonathan Brooks in round 3 if he's sitting right there? That's a question that Jerry Jones and company are going to have to ask themselves. But I think Jerry Jones would bite that bullet. I think they would draft Jonathan Brooks if he is there.
Yeah, if he's at 87, I think it won't take too much on the clock. They may wait about 10 seconds, but I think when they call, that's what they're gonna do.
And especially because the Dallas Cowboys medical staff, they're the ones that performed the surgery on Jonathan Brooks. Yeah. So the Cowboys already have some firsthand knowledge of how the surgery went, exactly what the type of injury was to Jonathan Brooks. Like that surgery was done in-house by the Cowboys team doctors. So, I mean, look, the ties are there. He's a Texas kid. Jerry Jones would love to have that Longhorn to Cowboy connection and make Jonathan Brooks the next featured running back for the Dallas Cowboys. I would like it. I'm a Longhorn fan, but
Man.
I mean, You watch Jonathan Brooks ball out last year. Dude had an immaculate season before he got injured. Like he was arguably the best running back in all of college football.
Yeah, when I see his game, he reminds me like a blend of a little bit of Jamal Charles in the game, but he got that physicality like Aaron Jones. Because when I
Yeah.
seen some of those plays, like when Aaron Jones was playing against us, I'm like, okay, I see Brooks playing similar to that. He's just a bigger guy.
I think those are pretty solid comps right there. Pretty solid comps. But if it's not Brooks, I do like a Trey Benson. If Trey Benson is available, he'd probably be my second favorite running back behind Jonathan Brooks. Also like me some Audric Estime. I know he's kind of a bigger running back, but I think he could be pretty good in the Cowboys system. I think the Cowboys, you know, they got smaller guys, right? Like Rico's kind of small, right? I mean, you got Deuce. We all know the size of Deuce, right? I think the Cowboys need a little bit more of a bigger running back, in my opinion, kind of some thunder and lightning, and getting that back whenever they did have Zeke and Pollard, right? A little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning. But now, they don't have either of those guys. Or will they,
Yeah.
Aaron? Because the rumor today, well, not a rumor. It was actually reported by Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News about an hour and a half ago that the Cowboys and Zeke Elliott have had talks on a possible return to Dallas. So, hey, take that how you will. Talks. They're talking. They're flirting with each other, like like they just saw each other in the club. And hey, you're looking good. What's up? Jerry's hollering at Zeke right now. We'll see what happens. We'll dust off your 21 jerseys. I'm just saying it might happen. So who knows, man? But I'd say round 3, you draft your running back of the future. You draft your feature back.
Yeah, what are the odds that before the draft even starts, we get a notification Cowboys signed Ezekiel Elliott?
I mean, crazier things have happened, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
And look, like let me be real here, right? Yeah, it is funny to say, oh, Zeke's coming back, what's Jerry doing, etc. I still think personally that Zeke could be a good short yardage back, goal line back. And I think last year the Cowboys desperately missed his ability near the goal line. Zeke has a nose for the end zone whenever he is down in a situation like that. So, look, realistic, if he came back, as long as he knows his role and there's firm expectations set that, hey, man, you're not what you used to be, but we're willing to use you in short yardage and some kind of goal line situations, then, hey, I'm in for Zeke in a limited role like that. So I'm not trying to crap on the whole Zeke rumors.
Yeah.
It's fun, right, to make fun of these guys because, yeah, Jerry and Steven are idiots from time to time. But if you bring Zeke back in a limited role for goal line situations, I'm down with that. I'm down.
Yeah, long as that's the situation with Zeke and where they're not trying to force him to be the workhorse back anymore. Because
Yeah.
I think those days are gone. But him just being that goal line short yards back like you're talking about, I'm down with that. Like we
I
need it.
still think he can be one of the best short yardage backs in the league. He just needs to be, in a system that he knows, and I think he can do that with Dallas. I think Mike McCarthy would utilize him pretty well like that. So we'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep on monitoring that situation because there's gonna be some smoke coming out of the Zeke camp with all this Cowboy talk.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that we're gonna have a lot of content after this NFL draft.
Of course we will, man. There's gonna be tons to talk about.
Yeah, they keeping us busy. But you kind of went into a little bit. That was actually a good transition. But draft scenario.
Okay.
Pick number 56. Both Peyton Wilson and Jonathan Brooks are available. Who are you choosing?
Ooh. I like the kid out of NC State. I think they both will be available in this scenario. I think Jonathan Brooks will last till the 3rd round, quite frank. I'm probably gonna go linebacker. I'm gonna go Payton Wilson in the 2nd round. I don't know. I think the Cowboys need at linebacker is a lot more desperate in that scenario because Payton Wilson won't make it to round 3. Guys like Junior Colson and maybe even Edrin Cooper, it's going to be a hard time to get them all the way to 87. In my opinion, right? I think you have to take your linebacker there if he's there. If you're comfortable with Peyton Wilson, take him. Junior Colson, Edgerrin Cooper, any of those second round type of running backs, you have to jump there because I don't think those guys are making it to round 3.
I agree. Like when it comes to Peyton Wilson, his IQ level is just like a Luke Kuechly and a Sean Lee,
Yeah.
but he's I think he ran like a sub 4 or 5, and he has that great closing speed and just how he diagnoses plays. You're like you can't beat on a guy like that, though. The only
And
thing
that's what the Cowboys need, man.
yeah, don't his biggest knock is just he has a grocery list of injuries.
Mm,
That's his weakness to me is that list like from high school into college. But
yeah. Yeah. A lot of wear and tear on that body for him. But like you said, man, he's pretty much like a field general out there. And with the loss of Leighton Vander Esch, who was that guy,
yeah,
essentially a coach on the field, so to speak, I think Peyton Wilson could fill that role pretty well if he should be available at 56.
yeah, absolutely. I almost forgot that we were gonna do like what is your like mock draft from round 1 through 3? Like three
Okay.
guys that you want to be on the Cowboys.
Yeah, so I got it. Let me look at this real quick. So I've been playing around with these mocks, Aaron, as we all have here over the course of the last few weeks. But in my mock draft scenario, I traded back with the Carolina Panthers, back to pick 33, and I ended up receiving a third round pick at pick 65 and
Okay.
also a couple of fifth round picks later on. But the third round pick 65, when this scenario came up, I jumped at it right away because I mean, that gives you what you need. You need another top 100 pick. And in this case, it's another third round pick that is before your original third round pick. It's essentially a high third round pick in this instance. So I jumped on it. But with that being said, my mock draft looks like this with the trade back to 33 with Carolina. The Cowboys take Graham Barden, interior offensive lineman from Duke. Solidify that line. He has flexibility, guard center type. I've seen people say he could play tackle, but there are some questions about his arm length and stuff like that, size. So he kind of projects out to be more interior offensive line. Got to see how they flex him or use him in that regard. 56 is Peyton Wilson, the guy we just talked about for all the reasons we talked about. I got him at 56. And then 65, I went Jonathan Brooks because he was right there available. At 87, I did go with an offensive tackle out of Yale. Now, I might not be saying his name correctly. You might have to help me out here.
I
His
got
name
you.
is Kieran Amigadije.
I'll put,
Amigadije?
yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Amigadije.
Yeah.
Kieran Amigadije, offensive tackle from Yale. Um, Kid has some size, has a lot of potential, really, really long arms. I know people love that on offensive tackle. So those were my 4 picks that I managed to secure in the top 100 with my trade back scenario.
Okay, I like that one. So I did one too. So I did trade down. I traded with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I got that 32nd pick, and then the third, and I got that 95th pick. So on the first pick, I got Josh Morgan, who we talked about, who I think is really good in the pass sets. He has
Nice.
good footwork. He just need to improve a bit in the run game, run blocking a bit. Sometimes he gets overly too physical and doesn't lock on the blocks. But he has good size. I know the arms are a little uh, on the shorter side, but I think
Yeah.
he's a tackle. He's not a. I know a lot of them saying guard, but I don't see a
A
guard.
lot of people are calling him a guard. And that kind of surprised me too, because when I've seen, when I've read up on him, when I've looked at some of the stuff from him, I see a tackle as well. I don't know. I guess some people, like you're saying, people have those questions about him.
Yeah. Like when it comes to his arms, he knows how to recoil because sometimes he's getting beat, but he can get his arms in like a certain position where you can see that fundamental he has in his game. So I liked him at that 32nd pick. With the second round pick, I did go linebacker, and I got Junior Colson, who I think is a
Okay.
really good run stopping linebacker. I know a lot of people got PTSD from Michigan guys, but this guy is different.
Yeah,
He's
guys are a little bit hesitant on the Michigan picks now, but hey, don't let that scare you off of Junior Colson. Dude's a stud.
Yeah, he is, and he could play that Mike or Will, but I think Mike's where he's going to be at. He has good cover skills for a guy that's over 240 pounds, And the only thing that he needs to improve a little bit on the destruction from blocks and everything, but everything else, he's that guy that could be that tone setter in the run game and also be able to be in the breaking the coverage as well. And then in my third round pick, I did get these are one of my pet cats, and that is Braylon Allen, from Wisconsin. He's a guy that has that one cut and go type of run style.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Allen a lot, man. I've seen him a little bit deeper in the draft, but like we said, man, running back is extremely deep, and it's pretty much like it's pretty much at the point of like, who do you like? Because there are going to be a lot of guys there at that third round selection. I actually have a buddy who's a Wisconsin fan,
Oh,
and
really?
he's from Wisconsin. Yeah, he's from Wisconsin, so he watches Wisconsin football religiously, and throughout this past season, he's saying, Braylon Allen Cowboys, Braylon Allen Cowboys. He's been kind of on that train a little bit and kind of talking me into it. And you watch the kid's highlights. I mean, the kid could be a really good player. He could be a home run hitter also. He's just one of those type of running backs said like one cut and boom, he's up the field.
Yeah, he's only 20 years old, so that's another big plus. He's not, there's still a lot of guys that are 24, 25, but this guy's only 20 years old. He got into college, I think, at 16 years old. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I noticed about his game, when he's getting tackled, he's falling forward. He's not going back because he has that good core strength. And other thing, he can be involved in like check downs in the receiving game and everything. And the way he plays like he's in bumper cars. Like they're not good when there's defenders coming, when they're trying to tackle him, there's like 3 or 4 guys that are gonna be on the ground with him as well.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
need
I
that
like that pick.
physicality running back.
I like that pick.
In the last pick, I don't know how I got this, but I'm not gonna complain. But the 95th pick, I did get Devondre Sweat. We did get our one tech.
What?
Yeah, so we got our one tech. I don't know how. I think this draft, I was like, man, I'm just gonna stop right there.
You're like, I've already done good enough right here, man. Make me the executive of the year.
Yeah, like hey, can I get a little position at the star or something? Maybe
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, man. They like you drafting would do probably a lot better than Jerry Jones. I'm not even joking about that. Like, I think so. I really do. If a scenario were to fall like that, where the Cowboys end up with Tavondre Sweat in a situation like this, I mean, yeah, I'm through the freaking roof, bro. I'm like, I don't know, I might be screaming in my living room, like ecstatic if that situation happens.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Probably the next week, I'd probably still be recovering from my voice from a screamer or something.
I mean, real talk, if it could be pulled off like that, that's a pretty good haul you had right there in your first four. That's
Hey,
impressive.
hey, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So we got into we're at the last part of our show, but and it's our second or third annual beer review.
That is damn right, sir. I have mine waiting right here.
So what beer are you drinking tonight?
So let me pop it open right now, real quick. Fresh pop. Ooh, there we
Oh,
go.
okay,
So what
okay.
I'm drinking tonight, this is Four Corners Brewery. It is their Chingon Especial Lager.
That looks
So it's
good.
a nice crispy boy, very easy flowing. It's just one of those crushable beers where it's hot outside. You might be on the patio, maybe a little lime on top, little lime in there. Real easy drinking Mexican style lager from Four Corners Brewing up in Dallas. This is a
Oh,
Dallas-based brewery.
okay.
Yep. So
Oh,
and let's cheers it up real quick.
yes, sir.
Delicious.
Yeah. So the one
There we
I'm
go.
drinking tonight is Viva, and it's a San Antonio brewery it's actually established in San Antonio, but they actually brew it in Austin, which is kind of weird to me. But
Yeah.
it's a it has hints of like grapefruit, and it's like Amarillo hops, and it's only
Yeah.
5%. So let me taste
Hey,
this.
I've actually I've had that beer before. It's freaking awesome.
It-
Viva is a good brewing company. All their beers are pretty solid. So that's a great selection, man. Great selection. This is my first time trying this Chingon Especial,
Mhm.
and it's not bad. It's pretty good. I like to go to the big HEB, see
Yeah,
what they got. I always like to pick something different. I try to at least try to try different beers and whatnot. So This is the one that caught my eye, and it's pretty damn good, man.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. So cheers again.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
Mm, delicious.
Yeah, cheers to a great draft. That's good.
Hey, we need it. The Cowboys are. I love this team. I want the best for this team. I disagree a lot with how Jerry Jones and Steven operate business.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, man, I'm always going to want the Cowboys to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm critical. Yes, I make fun of those stooges in the front office. I do that from time to time. Um, but hey, man, that's just being a passionate fan. You know, things like that happen. At the end of the day, I'm a silver and blue type of guy, so I'm hoping for the best tomorrow and throughout the weekend. And hopefully, we find ourselves a couple of guys, maybe two guys, maybe three guys that can be instant contributors, you know, or at least contribute at some point throughout the season.
Yeah, if we can get at least three guys that could be solidified starters. I'm not saying they got to be superstars first year or something like that. Just make an impact on this team. You're
Yeah.
doing great because in the draft. Like you don't knock on every player. If you do, man, y'all did a great job. And all of us Cowboy fans say, okay, even though we don't like how y'all run business sometimes when it comes to the personnel on the team, okay, y'all did a really good job in this draft.
Yeah, I'm willing to give. I give due, you know, when it's earned, right? And that's what I do on my radio show. I give the respect when it's earned. I criticize when it's necessary, and I think that's what a lot of people like to do. Unless you're, you know, a blue shaded cowboy homer where they do nothing wrong, which is fine. If you want a fan like that, fan like that. I cannot tell you how to fan. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I fan a different way than others. You know, I look at it from more of a critical, kind of analytical perspective. Some people just, hey, I'm a Cowboy fan no matter what they do. They can never do wrong. Hey, if you want to fan that way, go for it. I'm not going to be the one to judge you.
Yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to this, when you're doing the content and stuff, people want to hear that honest opinion. They're like, okay, can you give us a little bit more? I know you're not always happy about the Cowboys, so
Exactly. Just be genuine. You know, tell us how you really feel. Say it with your chest, as they say. You know, tell us.
absolutely. But before I let you go,
Yeah.
where's like one brewery that is like your go-to spot to get a nice cool beer?
Ooh. Are we talking anywhere or like San Antonio specific?
Anywhere, like one spot.
Damn, dude, this is kind of a loaded question because
Yeah,
there's a lot. I mean,
it is.
I love breweries. I love trying different places. Okay, I'm gonna say since you're in the San Antonio area, I'll give you a San Antonio one. All right, and
Okay.
then I'll give one here in the Corpus area. Since you're in the San Antonio area, I will recommend if you have not already been there, I will recommend a brewery that I absolutely love in San Antonio. It's called Black Laboratory Brewing Company. They got some amazing freaking beers, dude. Their beers are epic. Love that place. Vibe is amazing. Also, Freetail Brewing in San Antonio. Love
Heard
Freetail.
about them.
Freetail is awesome. There's one on the south side. There's one on the north side. So, Freetail's pretty damn good. In Corpus Christi, I mean, I enjoy all the breweries down here, but the one I've been enjoying lately is called Lazy Beach Brewing Company. Those guys are kick ass, dude. Um, just coastal beachy vibes whenever you go to it. And the beers they got about 20 beers on draft. They got the original, like, you know, they got their lagers, they got their ambers, they got their IPAs, but then they do like experimental type of beers too. So I mean, you can find almost anything at Lazy Beach down here in Corpus. So pretty damn good stuff.
Yeah, I plan on going to Corpus this summer, so I
Yeah, man.
definitely.
I know we need to connect this time. Next time you come down, let's connect. Let's see what's up. Maybe we could go grab lunch or something.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Hey, but I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I appreciate you for being on the show, bro. Taking out time out of your day.
Dude, anytime, man. Anytime you want to chop it up and talk Cowboys, let me know. I'll be there, man. I'm on that wall, baby. I am on this wall, ready to talk Cowboys at a moment's notice, bro. Just let me know. I'll be there.
Yes, sir. Hey, before I let you go, where can they find you and everything at?
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at Sir SIR Edward James. Find me on Twitter, Sir Edward James. I'm on the radio down here in Corpus, the Sunday Sports Rush, 9 a.m., 1440 AM, 98.7 FM, News Talk KEYS. It's online, 1440keys.com, or on our 1440 Keys mobile app. We're on. I'm always dropping some content on my social medias. So stay up to what I'm doing that way. So I appreciate everybody who does and everybody who listens and everybody's going to listen to this. Thank you all.
Appreciate you again, bro. This has been Tackles and Touchdowns. This has been the NFL Draft Eve show, Cowboys pre-draft show. Tomorrow's the big draft, but y'all have a good one. Peace.